when I look. Hello, Paul Simkus. We're going to discuss interviewing. We're going to read the scripts to 2 interviews. One is decidedly better than the other. I have the help of Renee Schlenhardt, who is a recruiter for a local firm. Knows quite a bit about interviewing, as she does it every day. But let's start. Mock interview 1.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you for coming in. As we discussed on the phone, we're a growing consulting firm. We're looking to add to our accounting team. This position is an associate. We'll be responsible for AP, AR, payroll, general ledger, in addition, payment collection and application as well. Any questions before we get started?
It's nice to meet you too, and I'm glad to be here. No, everything sounds good so far.
Great. So tell me about your accounting experience.
I don't really have any yet, but I've taken some classes.
Okay. So can you give me some examples where you have to deal with a deadline?
Well, I pretty much have dealt with deadlines in every job I've had. It's just part of what I'm used to dealing with in a healthcare environment, doing medical records at Advocate.
Okay. Tell me what you know about Excel.
I've only used a little bit of Excel at Advocate, but I've taken some courses and Excel was part of it in my accounting studies.
Okay. Tell me how you deal with pressure.
Well, pressure is something that everyone has to deal with. I've always just make sure to stay on top of things and get done what's expected.
Okay. So we've discussed the responsibilities of the position, and that's a little bit more entry level. What interests you about it?
I took these courses in accounting, and I now have my associates. I really like someone to give me a chance to break into accounting.
Okay, so before we end the interview, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, when does the job start and how much does it pay and what are the benefits? End of interview. That clearly, short interview, the candidate did not elaborate. In fact, when the candidate was asked for 3 examples of how they dealt with deadlines, they just gave a general statement. This second one, I think you'll see a big difference. Okay, mock interview 2.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice meeting you.
Thanks for coming in. As we discussed on the phone, we're a consulting firm, we're growing, and we're also looking to add to our accounting team. The position is an associate position. They'll be responsible for AP, AR, payroll, and bank recs. In addition, they'll be trained on journal ledger, general ledger, journal entries, and some payment collection and applications. Any questions before we start the interview?
No, everything looks good, and I'm excited about this opportunity. I would love to have the chance to apply my skills that I have gained in my position as a medical records clerk and my degree in accounting.
Okay, great. Tell me about your accounting experience.
Most of my knowledge comes from education at Oakton, so I'm eager to apply what I've learned about reconciling accounts, account receivable, account payable, payroll. In my past job at Advocate, I was responsible for creating patient records. I maintain a high level of accuracy, and I feel that would translate well into accounting because accounting is really a series of records too.
Okay. Give me some examples where you had to deal with a deadline.
Very often, actually, at the hospital, we are responsible for inputting all of the information on new patients, updating existing patient information into the system. It all had to be done accurately and timely because it affected patient finance, and there was a lot of legal regulations requiring it.
Okay. Can you give me examples where you had to deal with a deadline? Or actually, I'm sorry, I just repeated my question. What do you know about Excel?
What do I know about Excel? I've used it as a tool in my job at the hospital, correlating, combining, consolidating basic patient records. I can do pivot tables, I can do VLOOKUPs and some of the more difficult things. And I'm eager to use it in different ways.
Okay. Tell me how you deal with pressure.
In my time at the hospital, I often had pressure from people with different needs. The patients needed information, doctors had questions, and my boss expected me to keep on top of entering patients into the system. I was able to manage the expectations of everyone by balancing my priorities. If I had a question, I asked and clarified what was needed or needed to be shifted. For example, we were changing our medical records system and manual records had to be entered. I was also being asked to do other clerical tasks, and patients were coming to me with questions as well. I went to my manager to discuss the problem and how I should prioritize. Together, we came up with a solution that a file clerk would step in and assist on patient questions, and I would also stay and work after the office closed to get records entered. The solution worked out well for everyone.
Good. So we talked about the responsibilities of this position, how it's more entry level. What interests you about it?
I have a lot of experience with deadlines, accuracy, and I have always loved working with numbers and figuring things out. I took accounting courses because this is where I would like to pursue my career, and I feel like my past experiences with records would translate well into accounting. I would like the opportunity to apply what I have learned and grow within accounting.
Before we end the interview, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. I was wondering, you mentioned the company is growing. How much is it expected to grow, and how do you see the accounting department aligning with that growth?
That's a great question. So we have 50 employees right now. We're projected actually to double in the next year. There will be times where we experience growing pains, even in accounting. But the leadership here has been really good about planning operations and infrastructure to accommodate the growth. This could also mean growth opportunities for the individual that we hire for the position.
That's great, because I'm looking forward to pursuing a path within accounting and growing, and with a company that has opportunity for individual growth as it grows. How would you describe the leadership style and the culture here?
That's another great question. So I would say I'm pretty direct in terms of my expectations and feedback, and the other leadership here in the company as well. I think the position has pretty clear-cut responsibilities. Once the new associate's up and running, I'll expect them to work pretty independently. The company overall is very fast-paced, can be demanding, but it's still a fun place to work.
Good, good, good. Well, I guess the only thing I have to ask is, what's your timeline for a decision?
So we want to interview 3 final candidates, and we hope to have a decision by the end of next week.
Great. I hope to hear from you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, obviously the second one, more thorough. You don't want to run on endlessly, but you want to expand. Don't just say, I don't have any accounting experience. It's all about what you have. Okay, I have this, and there's a direct translation between somebody maintaining these complex records and working with accounting records. And you want to make sure they understand that. Okay,